What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Memes Not Meta, and today we have another deck profile to feature for you here on the channel, and this one is pretty spicy, it's pretty interesting, it's pretty unique, and it's courtesy of team member Bryan. Bryan, what are we taking a look at today?
Today we'll be looking at a reptile deck, Ogdoadics, with a little bit of alien tech in there for some really cool first turn plays.
Alright, well, I'm personally very excited. I know everyone watching is as well. I think personally, before we begin, they should go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe.
Oh yes, definitely.
Absolutely, and also go ahead and don't forget to join our Discord server, which is live and ready to go. We do all kinds of fun stuff in there. You can talk with all of us since we're basically celebrities at this point. I know, right? No sarcasm at all. But you know what? With that out of the way, let's just get right into this deck profile, all right? Let's do it. All right. And what do we got up first?
Our first card here is going to be Nunu, the Ogdoadic remnant. So this card is an extender card. It has two effects. Very first effect is that you can send this card to the graveyard to send an Ogdoadic dark monster from your deck to the graveyard. And then you can also then bring him back from the graveyard if you control another Ogdoadic card on your field, or if you control no monsters on the field, and just a free special summon onto your side of the field. But then you are locked into reptile monsters as long as he remains on the field. Not for the rest of the turn like most cards do, just as long as he's on the field. But this allows you to basically get a free monster on board without having to use your normal summon, which you'll see in the future. You'll need your normal summon for a specific monster. The other thing that's very nice is that he can bait ashes, since sometimes your opponents might not know what you're trying to do. So when you're trying to send stuff from deck, it's another really good ash bait. He also is banished when you remove him from the field if you special summon from the graveyard, though. Next one after that, we have Nauya, the Ogdoadic remnant. So another extender, just like Nunu. This one though, when you can send him from your hand to the graveyard to send a light Ogdoadic monster from deck to grave. So this is just to get the other ones there. And his other effect is when he is normal or special summoned, you can search for an Ogdoadic spell or trap card. Very nice. You know, this is your searcher. This is what you want to see. Basically try and get into the graveyard so you can special summon him later, which I'll show you with the other monsters. Next, we just have the one Zohah, the Ogdoadic. Can't remember his name. Boundless. Ogdoadic Boundless. I don't actually use this card very much, but he is in there for his one effect that is very useful. If you are locked with an Ogdoadic in your hand, you can't get rid of it. A couple of these monsters you don't want in the hand, you want in the graveyard. So he has a very nifty effect that if he's in the graveyard, you can discard a card in your hand to add him to your hand. He then has another effect that, honestly, I never use, which is when he is sent from field to grave, you can have both players draw and discard a card. Sometimes might be useful, but I personally do not use this effect, since I do not want my opponent to be drawing any more than they do, even if I need the draws. But just a nifty way to get monsters in the grave that are stuck in my hand. Next, we have Keurse, the Ogdoadic Light. Level 8 monster. This is what you would send off of Nauya to get into the grave. This is one of the cards that you want in the grave. If this card is in the graveyard, you can activate this effect, tribute a monster on your side of the field, and special summon this card. Then, if your opponent controls a monster in their graveyard, they can special summon it to their side of the field in defense position, and its effects are negated. So a very bad effect there, but we will be trying to stop that effect, as you will see later on. When this card is special summoned, you can target an Ogdoadic monster in your graveyard, a level 4 or lower Ogdoadic monster, and special summon it to your side of the field, but banish it when it leaves the field. So this is the card you want to get into the grave, tribute a monster, special summon it, and then target Nauya in the grave to search for an Ogdoadic spell or trap, basically for free, especially if you're going first when your opponent probably doesn't have anything in the grave at the moment. Next, we play aleirtt, the Ogdoadic Dark. This is the counterpart to the Light that you just saw. Same effect with tributing to bring back from the grave. But instead of special summoning a monster from your opponent's graveyard, your opponent can add a monster from their graveyard to their hand. So again, very bad. Unfortunately, we are unable to stop this effect with any cards, in this deck at least. The actual Ogdoadics themselves have another monster that will allow you to kind of counterplay with that, but we do not play it in this deck. When this card is summoned, you can select 2 banished cards and bring them back to your graveyard, as long as one of them is a reptile monster. So it's nice recycling, very good, again, going first, as long as your opponent does not use a hand trap. It's also another level 8, so you can go into some rank 8 plays, as we'll see later on. Next we play the boss monster, which is, I can't remember his name, he's got a very long one, Ogdoabyss, the Ogdoadic Overlord. So this is one of the boss monsters, normal monsters for the Ogdoadic deck. Requires 3 tributes from the graveyard to summon itself, but you never really want to use that effect. You normally cheat him out with the Ogdoadic spell that you will see later on. He has a quick effect that once, while he's face up on the field, you can destroy all other monsters on the field that were not summoned from the graveyard. So very good board wipe for monsters, as long as they haven't been from the graveyard. And he's also got 3100 attack, which is very nice, since a lot of monsters nowadays usually have about 3000 attack. Next we play the Wyvernbuster, both of them. It's nice to get extra special summons, especially with level 4, since we do go into a couple rank 4 XZs, and nice to get more link materials for links. So just nice to have them. More searches. Next we play 3 iblees. So this is what you really would like to use your normal summon on. A very good card in this deck. We'll see the lockout, first turn lockout, that I like to do with this deck. This card is honestly, I still feel like very, very good. It stops Nibiru, it stops Impermanence, it stops a lot of those cards, it stops Gamma, so it stops a lot of that. This will also stop Light's effect of your opponent special summoning a monster, since you cannot special summon any other monsters except for Link monsters. So another way to stop that pesky effect. And then we play 3 Parallel Exceeds. As I said with the Wyvernbusters, we want to see more materials. We want to get more plays for ranked XE monsters. So getting these guys on the field, very nice. Another way to stop Ashes, because this deck definitely has some much better Ash targets that you kind of want to hide from your opponent. And then we play the 1 Alien Stealth Buster. So this might seem as a weird choice, but he is crucial actually to the first turn play that I will show you later on. When this card is sent to the graveyard, you can place 2 AA counters on a monster on the field. I'll show you why that is important. And then he has another effect that you can banish this card from the graveyard to destroy a monster on the field with AA counters. So he's also just nice to remove stuff on your opponent's side of the field when they inevitably get AA counters, as you'll see in the future. Moving on now to the spells, we play the only Ogdoadic spell card or trap card, Ogdoadic Water Lily. Unfortunately, it's basically the only good Ogdoadic spell or trap right now. There's a couple of other ones, but this is the only one that I found was good for going first. This card is a Foolish Burial for a reptile monster from your deck. And then if you control 5 or more reptile monsters in your graveyard, you can special summon a reptile from your graveyard. So not only is it a Foolish Burial, but it is a monster reborn all in one. This is how you normally will cheat out the boss monster. This is how you'll cheat out a lot of your reptiles, so very nice to have. This is also the target you search with Nauya. Then we play the 3 Snake Rains. This card is very, very good, as you just heard. It's basically 4 Foolish Burials for the cost of 1 card in your hand, which a lot of cards you want in the grave anyway. So, it's a +5 sometimes, +4. This is the target you really don't want to get Ash, so if you have this card in your hand, you can try and bait around Ashes with any of your other cards. We play 3 Cynent Minings. You want to see Iblee, try and get that first turn Iblee out, very crucial. Another target for Ash, you don't need the Iblee to continue with the play. The Iblee just kind of locks in the deal, but to do the alien lockout, you don't need Iblee 100%. Next, 2 Piri res maps. Again, I want to see more Iblee. I was considering putting it to 3, but I only have it at 2 at the moment. Just kind of want every other card in here as well. Might be able to take out a different spell. I can't think of one that I would want to take out at the moment, which is why I'm only playing 2. But if you want to try and fiddle around with it, you can definitely take out another card. Play the 2 Chaos Spaces. Like to see the Wyvernbusters, like the extra draw it has. Card is a little bit expensive. This is another card you could see at 3. Again, I only feel that 2 is needed. Don't need to see more of it. The one called by. This deck definitely does not want to have any hand traps going off, so being able to stop one, very nice. And then moving on to the traps, we play the 1 Planet Pollutant Virus. This is a very good card for the Alien Lockout. This card is activated by tributing a alien monster on your side of the field, and it destroys then all monsters on your opponent's side of the field that do not have AA counters on them. And then for three turns, 3 of your opponent's end phases, every monster they summon gets an AA counter on it. And you'll see why that is bonkers with the extra deck, which you will see now.
Main deck at 40?
Yes, main deck is at 40. So now moving to the extra deck. Cosmic Slicer Zerol. So this is the alien monster that you play for the lockout. This card's effect is that when it is link summoned, you may search for an alien card from your deck. So this is what you use. You search for an alien card from your deck that has AA counters in the effect. So this is what you use to search Planet Pollutant Virus. And then its other effect is all monsters on your opponent's side of the field that have AA counters on them cannot activate their effects, and they are switched to defense position. So this stops your opponent from basically activating any monster effects, which is already very good, but it also keeps Iblee's effect active while it has AA counters on it, but does not allow her to switch into attack to ram into any of your monsters, meaning that hopefully your opponent can't get rid of Iblee, and it's just stuck on their field. This card can also be summoned back from the grave with the Ogdoadic Water Lily. If it gets destroyed, you can always summon it back, and your opponent's monsters should all still have AA counters on them, allowing for a very easy turn 2. Next, we play 2 of Reptilian Inkaida, just a generic reptile link monster. When it's summoned, you can target a monster on your opponent's side of the field and put it to 0 attack. And then its other effect is you may search for reptile monsters in your deck up to the number of monsters your opponent controls with 0 attack, but then it locks you into reptile-type monsters. I sometimes will just use this effect for the free search if I'm not planning on summoning any other monsters, but it's not needed. You don't need to have the search. By the time you summon this card out, you should probably have most of your monsters in the grave anyway. Play the 1 Alien Shock Trooper M-Frame. Another generic reptile link. Sometimes I like to go into him instead of Inkaida because he has more attack. He's got the quick effect to place AA counters on monsters. Is a target for Planet Pollutant Virus if I am unable to get out the Shock Trooper or the other alien monster from the main deck. Sometimes that happens. So another target. 2 King of the Feral Imps. Another very good searcher for reptile-type monsters. Sometimes you're not able to get one of your Ogdoadics into the grave. Well, here you can search it and hopefully discard it. Just a nice, easy search. You can go into them using Nauya and Nunu, allowing you to not banish them if you want them still in the grave. Also another reptile for Ogdoadic Water Lily. Play the 1 Rika Queen Strenna. So this card, I'd say it's a little bit spicy in this deck. You don't really use it for its other effect, but its main effect you use it for is that when this card is tributed, you may special summon a I'm pretty sure it's a 1 rank 5 or higher plant XZ monster from your extra deck. Or your graveyard, and then you can attach this card to it as a material. So you tribute this with one of the Ogdoadics in your graveyard to summon Sacred Tree Beast Hypertron. Which this card is very good. This card is basically an Omni Negate, but only for materials, but only for the card of the same material attached to it. And only can activate this effect during your opponent's turn. So unfortunately you're unable to stop hand traps during your turn, but it is still a very good Omni Negate. Once per turn during your turn, when you activate a spell, trap, or monster effect, you may attach a material from your graveyard of the same type. So if you activate a spell, you can put another spell on him, allow you for an Omni Negate then of a monster, and a spell, since Rika's already on it. This is what you can go into with Parallel Exceeds, or if you're able to summon it off of 2 level 4s, that's what I would normally go into. 1 Tornado Dragon, just nice to have spell and trap card removal. Sometimes, don't want to side in Twin Twisters or whatever you want to play. So Tornado Dragon does the job. Play the one number 68. So this is a more spicy card. It's 2 level 8s. You have light and dark in there, so you can definitely get into them easier. I like to play him because a lot of decks right now like to summon monsters from the graveyard. This stops the new Fusion Destiny, can't remember his name at the moment, but the Destiny Hero monster.
Phoenix Enforcer?
Phoenix Enforcer, that's it. It stops him from summoning, so, if your Phoenix Enforcer goes off, you may summon the 2 level 8s, go right into him, activate his effect, and next turn, your opponent won't be able to summon him. It also stops Light's effect from going off when it's summoned. Your opponent won't be able to special summon anything from the graveyard, so, very nice. It also just has a good attack, gaining 100 attack for every monster in the graveyard. So you have a lot of monsters in your graveyard at all times, so you normally can get them up to 3,000 attack at least, pretty easily. Next, we have the number 97 Draglubion with number 100 Numeron Dragon and number 38 Hope Harbinger. This is just, the normal package. I was thinking about putting in a couple more number dragons eventually. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But definitely would like to put in a couple other ones. Basically, Hope Harbinger is just for negating of spells. Just another good monster to sometimes end first on if you need to do it. And then number 100 is how you OTK it very easily, since you can boost his attack up to 9,000, sometimes even higher than that, and just smack into anything on your opponent's side of the field for game very easily. And then, of course, number 97, Draglubion, is how you cheat them out easier. And then, I also play the 1 Salamangreat Almirage. This is just, the easy combo you use with Iblee to get her off the field and onto your opponent's side of the field. Very easy. And for the last extra deck monster, I would just put in any other number Dragon Xyz monsters with Draglubion that you feel is appropriate. Mine are still coming in the mail, so I have not put in any yet.
Overall, thoughts on the deck, Brian?
I think the deck is actually very good. It can very consistently get into the alien monster with Planet Pollutant Virus, especially since you can bait Ash so much, so they normally won't be able to get by the Planet Pollutant Virus. Iblee, on the other hand, is not crazy consistent, since you only have about 8 ways to get into her. If you don't draw into any of those 8 ways, you're kind of out of luck there. But without Iblee, you can still definitely cripple your opponent.
All right, well, thanks so much for sticking out to the end of the video here, and a little bit of a special announcement. We're going to have 2 more videos involving this deck on the channel. It's quite a versatile deck. The first is actually going to be a different version, if I understand that, Brian. It's going to be a different version of this deck that you've concocted?
Yes, this, the other version of the deck actually takes out the alien package, or more so the Iblee package, keeps the aliens, and it's an FTK that is actually able to be side decked.
Interesting. So very excited to see that. So that's a whole 15 card difference in the main deck. So we're going to make a whole different deck profile for that. We're going to detail that one and show you how to FTK in that video. And in a separate video, we're actually going to go through some combos for this main version of the deck, because I understand it's a pretty intense combo going first that allows you to get all these pieces moving.
Indeed it is.
All right, we'll look forward to those absolutely in the future here on Team Memes Not Meta. Thanks so much for watching. As we said in the beginning, leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. If you have any questions, any suggestions for Brian, leave them below. We'd love to answer them. And with that said, thank you all so much for watching again. Have a great day.